out to me.
Why you so mad?
Shout out to Rudy. Thanks again for having me.
Why you so mad? Why you so mad? Why you so mad? Why you so mad at me? Why you so mad? Why you so mad, Daddy? Why you so mad? Why you so mad at me? Why you so mad? Dad, why you so mad? Why can't you just be happy? I brought some Legos for us, but you still feeling crabby. I don't like it when you yell, I don't like when you get angry, so I'm hiding in my room until you wanna play with me. Did I forget to clean my room? Did I forget the trash? You've been mad since you got home, and I just wanna make you laugh, Daddy. I just wanna be like you. Sorry if I'm bad, I'ma try and be a better son, be a better man. Always wanna make you proud, Dad. I don't understand, is this how I'm supposed to act when nothing is going as planned? I'm sorry I melted the crayon, sorry I played in the sand, I'm sorry I ate up alone, sorry I made mommy mad, I'm sorry sometimes I get sad emotional, maybe I am. Had to get up and to run, I don't know if I'll come back. Sorry for being your son, doing the best that I can. Maybe the next time you'll see me, then you'll be proud of me, Dad. Why you so mad? Why you so mad at me? Why you so mad? Why you so mad? Why you so mad at me? Why you so mad? Why you so mad at me? Why you so mad? Why you so mad at me? Why you so mad? Why you so mad at me, Dad? Why you so mad? Finally, I'm on my way home, but I am in a mood. Got a call from Mrs. Wright and caught her with a different dude. Money's getting kinda tight, hope that we don't have to move. Trying to stay out of sight, looking for something to do. No, I can't play with your Legos, sit down and play in your room. Take out the trash after that, and then you can play in your room. Just go to school and come back, why can't you follow the rules? Why are you getting into fights? What are you trying to prove? Maybe I'll send you away, I don't know what else to do. It worked for my daddy and me, I hope that it's working for you. One day you will see, it's the hardest thing I had to do, but what I did saved your life, and we both know that it's true. Sorry, I'm not sorry, you were acting like a fool, and I won't apologize cause you didn't go back to school. No, we don't see eye to eye, and I don't call you like I should, but I'll always love you, son, and I did the best that I could. Why you so mad? Why you so mad at me?
I'm anti-famous. Thank you, Rudy.
So welcome back, and we have Anti-Famous here.
How's it going?
So where are you originally from? Have you always been like native to Colorado?
No, I'm originally from Wisconsin. I moved out here when I was 18.
Oh, dope. So okay, I don't know a lot about Wisconsin. What are some things that you do for fun out there?
Well, kind of depends where you're at. If you live in the city, which is roughly around Milwaukee, or Madison, there's a lot more activities. I wouldn't know so much about that, but no, I live right on the edge of in a city called West Bend. So I was right on the edge of Milwaukee. So in big cities, we would do a lot of illegal stuff, hang out at parks, get in fights, dumb stuff. But out in the country, it was just make it go faster. A lot of barn parties and field parties and
A little bit of a thrill seeker.
yeah, a little bit of a thrill seeker. Yeah, me and my friends, we love the adventure.
That's awesome. So I feel like your branding is super, super strong. So where did Anti-Famous come from? And then when did the anonymous mask kind of come into play? I've noticed that's been like a reoccurring character.
Yeah, so Anti-Famous sort of originated when I decided I couldn't do a band anymore, basically, and I'll explain that in a minute. And the mask is sort of, it's based off of V for Vendetta, or the inspiration is from V for Vendetta. I really like the message in that film, and I kind of wanted to portray that same message from the film in my music, but in a pleasant way, much like the film. That said, Anti-Famous, back in Wisconsin, I was in a couple different bands with a couple friends. I played bass guitar, and I wrote the music and was the singer. None of the bands did anything. We didn't go anywhere. We were 14, 15, 16 years old. But when I moved out here to Colorado, I didn't know anybody, and I wanted to start a band, but I didn't know anybody, and it was hard not only to find a band, but I still didn't have all my stuff out here. I only moved out here with 2 bags and a duffel bag and a briefcase. So 2 bags and a briefcase, and that was it. So it took a while to get the rest of my stuff out here and stuff. So while I was waiting, I was like, well, if I just find a beat right to that, then I can just do this until I can find a band. And then I just kept on writing and writing, never found the band. And when I decided to take music seriously, or take rapping seriously rather, my first pen name was Masterpiece, which I did not, that's an exclusive, nobody knows that. But then I landed on Anti-Famous because I don't do this for the fame, I do this for the love of writing, for the love of music, and because even if I don't have a band, I still want to make music, and again, it's not for the fame, it's just because I like making music.
I definitely feel so much of your authenticity in your music, because like I myself don't really care to get signed by a label or whatever. I feel like when you get into like wanting shallow goals like that, you start to water yourself down or like force yourself into boxes or be even more hypercritical, trying to be something else. Where I've always liked your style because it is so real. Like every song that I heard, I was like, I believe this is genuinely living in your mind on a regular basis.
Thank you.
With that being said, Searching for Service, that album, I noticed that was relatively early in your Anti-Famous career, and it has such a just like passion and drive and like resilience in the lyrics that I'm kind of curious what your headspace was behind that project.
So that was the first real transition from the kind of music that I was making, or was trying to make, to the hip hop and rap that I was now starting to make. So like when I mentioned that I was in those bands, I was punk and alternative rock. Like it was all about it. I just wanted to, anti-establishment, anti-government, anarchy, like it was like that was kind of my driving force. Then I not only got a little bit more educated about the big picture of everything, but then I also didn't have a band, so Searching for Service was kind of incorporating that punk alternative rock into hip hop, or translating that into hip hop and rap.
I felt that, like every song that I heard, like there was an edge to it, there was an energy to it, and I
call out a lot of politicians by name on that one. I'm glad that it's relatively under the radar, right now, because if it did blow up, I'd probably be in trouble today.
I say screw 'em. I'll never ever let.
They Jimmy Kimmel me.
Yeah, honestly, when it comes to like all that stuff, like I'm all for just people being 100% themselves, and like your experience is your experience, and no matter what, there's gonna be people that identify with what you're saying, and those who disagree, like, do you even really want their attention? Right? But so I noticed there's a really massive like tonal shift. I know it's like a little bit later in your discography and a little bit more recent, but when I was listening to the album Over It, I felt so much like pain and vulnerability being incorporated into it that it made me almost curious, like maybe what was going on in your life to bring out a lot of that tenderness that's there.
Yeah, so Over It was, there was a lot of drastic changes in my life. Like there was a lot of internal struggle. So I started Anti-Famous Entertainment a couple years back, and at that time, like Anti-Famous Entertainment was only about a year old, and I was struggling, and I was debating on if I was going to continue or not. Plus, there was also some family drama going on that was just making everything very difficult, forced me to reflect on how I was parenting, how I was, there was a lot of self-reflection in that time period, and I didn't really know what to do with it all. Thus, I started writing, which is that's my therapy.
Yeah.
And that's why I titled the album Over It, because it was just, there was so much that I'm just over it, and when I put it all down on that page, and I let it out, then it's just like, it's made me feel better. Now I'm over it, and that was kind of the inspiration for the title of it. But yeah, there was a lot of reflection going on with that album.
Yeah, when I was listening to a couple tracks on there, and I was like sitting there, I was like, damn, I was like, I really feel like these are like like late night thoughts that like I also very much relate to. And
Stuff that keeps you up at night for sure.
oh yeah, I mean like some of the content in there, it's it just hits really hard because you can literally feel the battle within self. Like and there's a lot of fight on both sides of yourself, which is it makes a real messy battle, but it's so beautifully put together.
Especially as an artist, as a parent and an artist, you know, as a young parent and artist, right? You know, like we're out here trying to shape our child's lives, and we're relearning how we're supposed to do this with the new social norms and X, Y, and Z. And there's so much that we knew to be true that just is not factual, that we're relearning, right? And we're breaking generational curses, and there's just that alone is a challenge in itself, right? And then on top of that, as artists, we're trying to break into this field that very few actually succeed in monetarily anyways. And most often, you know, most artists have this constant confliction of self-doubt, you know, of am I good enough, you know, am I funny enough for comedians, are my songs real enough, or is my art, you know, emotional enough? Like we all, as artists, you know, like anybody who pours their soul into their craft, like there's always that self-doubt, you know, where you're your biggest critic, right? And trying to battle yourself as well as, you know, keep yourself in check and understand that you are able enough to shape these lives. Like there's just a whole lot of internal turmoil, you know, that, you know, a lot of it you gotta readdress, you know.
Absolutely. I know I got to meet a couple of your kiddos at Summer Buzz Fest. I didn't know that they were your kids at the time, but I believe it was your oldest daughter. I talked to her for about 5 minutes, and that kid stuck with me because she has this emotional awareness and this depth to her that I deeply relate to. But she also, what stood out to me the most was she had this ability to express herself fully that I wasn't allowed to have at that age, and it was very healing for me to see. That's why she kind of stuck with me. So when I pull up on you and your beautiful, very supportive, kick-ass wife, and you both go, "This is our daughter," it made so much sense. But with that,
well, thank you. That is a massive compliment, you know, to both my daughter and myself. Like that is, yeah, and I agree. Ella is so, she can read people like the Reader's Digest. Like it's without even trying.
Yeah, I think I was just walking to the bathroom and caught her in passing, and I was like, wow, like this kid is really freaking trippy. Like she's cool as hell and just had so much to say. And
very herself, you know, we pride ourselves on letting her be herself, you know, in the full extent, you know.
Oh, you can see that, absolutely.
She's got such a big heart. She's the kindest, the sweetest little girl.
Yeah, no, I think she's.
Which makes when she's in trouble even like 10 times harder to discipline.
So with that family dynamic, which I relate to with the kids and the partner and myself, I know there's a lot of struggle that comes with the fight for this, but how do you think the parent side affects the music, and then how do you think the music affects the parenting?
So that is a great question. So like I definitely, well, so one example would be my dad had challenged me to write a song without any curse words. And when he did so, it was kind of a joke, but I took it as a slight, and I was like, you know what, like I'm gonna write this song without curse words just to show that I can, you know. And then I wrote it, and then I was like, well, like I consider myself a writer first, and if I can't write a song without any curse words, then you can't be that great of a writer.
Yeah.
So Over It, for instance, that's the first album that there's actually 2 versions. There's one explicit version, and then there's another version that is completely clean, where there's at least half the album that has 0 curse words in it whatsoever, and then the other songs that do have curse words, there's like maybe 2 or 3. So like I was very proud of that, and by doing so, it allows my kids to enjoy the music a lot more, you know, sing along to it a lot more.
Yeah.
But you know, I understand now that my kids are growing up, like they are singing along to my songs, and they are my biggest fans, and I want them to, I want to be that person that they believe in. you know.
Yeah.
So that definitely holds me to a certain type of standard, you know, and a certain quality in my craft. Now, with that said, because of that and because I'm shaping young minds, and I am doing something that, you know, this is not a standard career path, right? I want them to also know that, you know, you can follow your dreams, and it's going to be a challenge and it's going to be hard, and that struggle right there is almost daily of, you know, do I keep following my dream, not just for me but to show my children, like, you not to give up on your dream, or do I give up on my dream so that I can focus more time and energy on building a better life for my children, or, you know, like, and then what's the conditions of a better life, like what's that criteria actually entail, like, am I giving them a better life now than I would then? So, like, there's a lot of again, that balance, you know, like, and how my music and the parenting, they're intertwined so heavily, like, it's hard to, yeah, they're intertwined, I guess.
I definitely feel like being a musician plus a parent is a very, very tough path, because like I feel like a lot of other parents don't understand and oftentimes don't respect the fact that I make time for these things. But I actually think it's incredibly noble for you to show your kids that surviving and leaving space to nourish your soul can happen. You don't need to pick one extreme or the other, because the truth is that better life with the picket fence and, you know, the beach house or whatever the hell people think is better long term. I mean, everyone's one injury away from bankruptcy.
Right.
So if you don't leave legacy, if you don't leave integrity, if you don't leave heart and hope in what you do, and the money goes, then what? You know?
Right. What are you left with?
And I think what you're doing is incredibly important, because you're just showing them life skills, determination, resilience, and also, I mean, just a view of life that there is love incorporated to it. Because I don't think a lot of kids get to see that. I hate to say it, but a lot of kids don't. And so I know we were talking about Summer Buzz a little bit. That was a hell of a thing this year. I had the honor of being able to perform and meet everyone at this event. And yeah, we've kind of compared it to like our little Colorado Woodstock. If you care to share your experience with that.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, that was a 2-day event at America the Beautiful Park. We had 2 stages, 2 days, 3 different genres. We had over 30 local performers on those 2 stages over those 2 days. It was really cool. Now, it was the first time that we did something of that scale. We've done Summer Buzz since 2023. The first time was outside of this little restaurant that's also grown quite a bit, Roll Up Restaurant, so shout out to Roll Up. The second one was at Sunshine Studios, shout out to Sunshine, and that one had a little car show. So this one was much bigger and much more ambitious. With that said, there was a handful of logistical issues that we did not plan for, that we will be planning for next year. So we are doing it again next year. But overall, like, it was such a cool show, and the people that were there really made the whole vibe so impactful. Like, it was so emotionally attractive. Like, it was just so awesome. The people that were there, like, there was performers singing in the rain. The bands had to postpone it because of the rain, but on day 2 we did have bands performing in the rain, so it was very Woodstock-esque. You know, people were out there holding down the tent while it's raining and hailing. It was supposed to be sunny on both of those days, by the way. The weather said it was, you know, clear skies literally right up until it started hailing. Yeah. But no, it was a great time. Despite all the things that went wrong, it was a wonderful time.
Yeah, definitely I'm so grateful I got to be a part of the learning curve. I'm not gonna lie, I like things to be memorable, even if it comes with like a little bit of chaos. In fact, I prefer chaos. But I got to perform day 2, and I remember there were No Kings protests going on, which were like everywhere. There were pride events going on, and then when I tell you this hail was crazy, so everything got shut down for like a hot minute. We all go under a canopy, and we are literally ass to ankles, holding the tent down because the wind's trying to take it away. I got people picking up pieces of hail and then picking up a nug of weed, and they're the same size.
Yeah.
And when I tell you magic was happening under that tent during that pause, I mean, people were so close, we had no choice but to connect. And before, I feel like there was like a little bit of nervousness and anxiety from the artists, myself included, because like I didn't know everyone. It's like going to a party where you know like one person, right? And then all of a sudden we're just together, keeping each other warm and entertained, and
it together.
and I swear, like that, it was seriously magical. Like I think that was one of the coolest things I've gotten to be a part of, and I think about it often.
So make sure you guys check it out. Summer Buzz 2026.
Yeah, and with because I know we're talking a lot about the music side, but what about being a businessman, and kind of like what inspired that or got that going?
Yeah, so I started making music. I did Searching for Service, and I performed a couple times, and then COVID happened, and we couldn't perform. And that's when it really dawned on me that performing music isn't something that I'm going to be able to do until I retire, right? So I wanted to have something to kind of fall back on. But instead of doing a label or an agency or something like that, I took a look at our community, and I realized that every 2 to 3 years, there's about 4 promoters that close up shop. They're done promoting shows. They're done doing that, right? And every 2 to 3 years, in that same time period, there's another 4 promoters that we're going to start promoting again, which tells me there's a massive demand for live music, right? And then, so I decided, okay, well, there's live music, maybe I should start putting on some shows, right? So I started learning about how other promoters put on their shows, and there's a system at play that is just, it's batshit crazy, okay? Like, artists don't get paid, venues get paid, sort of, but like, it's a whole scam, it's a whole racket. So I decided I was going to, if I'm going to do events, then I'm going to do them differently. Now that opened up a whole other can of worms, because then when I have to do these events differently, then I have to plan differently and plan my approach differently. So, and that's where the community comes in. So I decided to start this business where I would use the community to help create the events or curate the events, pay for the venue, pay for the equipment, that sort of stuff, and then recruit local artists to perform at these events, right? And for the community. So it's kind of, one hand feeds the other, right? Or washes the other.
Yeah.
So in doing so, there was, again, some learning curves. I've been doing this since 2022 now. And now we have a pretty solid template where, I can plan an event in like an hour and a half. So that's where the business came in, and it was not just to make myself profitable and to make a business, but it was to create something that's going to last, right? And something that isn't going to last because I'm doing all the legwork, but something that's going to last because the community wants it. There's the demand, right? And I'm giving quality music to the community, so there's the supply, right? Now at this point, I have there's a handful of artists that truly believe in what we're trying to do here with Anti-Famouz Entertainment, with these events, and it's kind of driven me to I can't stop, and I have to only get better at it, right? So now I've grown. We're sponsoring two other promoters with different kinds of events: Project Olympics with Boxing and Barbecue, as well as the Sarge with Bust Out the Box, who has a residency at Wagon Wheel. So big shout out to the Sarge, Project Olympics, and Wagon Wheel. So yeah, we're expanding. We're getting into more events, and in doing so, I'm able to find and network more artists that I can put on for these shows. And when I curate my shows, I curate the shows for the vibe, not necessarily for the headliner, for the artist, or just to put bodies in the building. I curate it for the vibe. So when I find artists, so like you won't see me searching for artists on Facebook on like posts.
Like ads.
Yeah. Individual messages, because I'm like, this artist is very lyrical. This artist does this type of music. This artist does this type of music. And this would be good for this show. This would be good for this one, and this would be good for this one, right? And that way, no one's out of their element, and the people that go to these shows, they stay for the shows. and then they stay not just for the person that they came to see, but then they stay for the other guys because it's along the same vibe. I'm like, oh wow, that sounds a lot like what I was just hearing, and I like that.
Kind of like setting everyone up for success. I think that's super important and not something everyone considers.
The community gets something back from it and enjoys the show, and again stays longer because they stay longer. The venue gets to make more money off of their liquor sales, right? And because they stay longer, the artists get to build their fan base. So it's literally everybody wins. When this started growing is when when I decided to do the nonprofit, the RHI, which is the Rock Hood Initiative. Now what this does is it's a source of funding for not just Anti-Famous entertainment, but for all kinds of different local events, from art shows to open mics, concerts, whatever. Local artists, that's what the RHI is for. So we get sponsors from the community to donate to the RHI, which is 100% tax deductible for any sponsors out there. And then that money gets distributed to either Anti-Famous Entertainment to put on local events for the community or to a specific local event of that sponsor's choosing.
I think that's awesome. I think that you definitely bring a lot to the community, but also one thing I noticed about you immediately was just how much community loves you and loves what you do, and it's definitely people appreciate you a lot. Like I definitely noticed that like instantaneously. So I am gonna circle back a little bit because I know we kind of touched on, you said you were in a couple bands prior and then you kind of fell into just working over beats, but what brought you to writing music in general, like at the very, very beginning, the first pen to paper moment?
So as I mentioned, I was growing up in Wisconsin, and my parents had gotten divorced when I was like 14. I was very conflicted. I was rebelling against authority figures and X, Y, and Z. Got in with the wrong crowd. My mom would listen to a lot of rock and roll, classic rock, but she had a very wide variety of music. She also introduced me to hip hop and rap. My dad was more on the softer rock, alternative rock, and also classic rock. So I had a wide variety of rock, right, growing up. So then I started hanging out with gangsters, really, and listening to a lot more hip hop and a lot more rap. And none of this was like I was not writing any music at this point. I did love to write though, so I'd write various stories. Like when I was in like 5th grade, I actually got a book published through the school. It was like A Night to Remember. And then I've written a vampire story. I wrote another book called How to Start a Revolution, so you can kind of see the trend building. And then that's when I started wanted to do the punk bands. And I started writing with really it was just love songs, right? And then kind of, again, building to this anti-establishment thing, or like mindset. But yeah, I started with doing sappy love songs. Like I was a closet romantic. I was getting my heart broken all the time, getting cheated on all the time. Like it was rough. So I wrote all these sappy love songs and wrote my vampire story. Not like Twilight vampire either, like underworld vampires, cool vampires. But and it was before it was cool, okay. But yeah, so when I first started writing, it was really just sappy love songs. Then I kind of got more political as I would go to Milwaukee and pick up drugs and do all kinds of illegal shit. I realized the stark differences from Milwaukee to West Bend and the different lifestyles. Right now, it didn't really click just then, but I started noticing it, and I had all this misdirected anger. Right, I was just a rebel without a cause, I like to say. It wasn't until I was getting arrested all the time. I graduated in jail, so I was going down a bad road. So then I moved out to Colorado at 18 years old to live with my Aunt Jean and Uncle Mike, and they are 20+ year vets. Between them they've got over 45 years of experience in the United States military. They don't have a whole lot of experience with young 18-year-old men who think that they know everything.
Oh no.
So my Uncle Mike asked me one day, not so nicely, "You want to break bad, motherfucker?" And I looked at him dead in the face. I said, "Nope, not today."
Smart.
And that's when the reflection started happening. It's like, I realized that I am very unique I was very lucky to get out of the situation that I was in, and I realized that some of the situations that a lot of those people are in currently is not accidental, and that's when I started educating myself more, and that's when a lot more of the politics came in, you know, and that's where that's where I was kind of, I don't want to say radicalized, but yeah, that's where I was radicalized.
I know you were talking about the anti-verse, and I feel like it kind of goes hand in hand. Would you care to elaborate on that a little bit, and what that means to you?
Yeah, so Into the Anti-Verse is the last project I released. It's live on all platforms, free on YouTube, and it's basically, so it's kind of so the reason the title comes from merging my last two albums and kind of putting I don't want to say conclusion, but overall topic on it all, right? So the anti-verse is the three main topics, and that's your emotional well-being, right, which is you get from Over It. That's the anti-establishment, you know, the political resonance that you get from Searching for Service, and you get how it all ties together into the anti-verse, which is through the music, right? And that's why Into the Anti-Verse is so different than both of those other albums. Like there's a lot more, there's a couple of skits in there, and I don't want to say subliminal, but the politics is more, it's not so in your face.
It's like indirect.
Right? Yeah, and it's more relatable, I think.
Yeah, like those that get it, but those that don't, like, you know, kind of like, they
but
won't pick up on that.
Well, that's the thing, is they're all going into the anti-verse. So like you're gonna pick up on one of these things, either the music, the emotion, or the politics.
I love that.
So, and that's the idea anyways. So if I'm wrong, let me know, you know, check it out.
I really think that. I think that that's cool. I like when things can kind of have multiple interpretations, but they're still intentional and guided, you know?
Yeah.
I know, or before when we were kind of going through like why we do Rooted, and we were getting kind of like sentimental and everything, you were kind of tapping in on the Devil's Revenge a little bit, and I was wondering if we could tap into that just a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, that one was a very emotional song. That made my mom cry the first time. So yeah, it was. So that was kind of, again, Searching for Service was not necessarily a cry for help, but it was definitely a shout out, right? It was like, hey, anybody who's doing this shit, stop, right? And Devil's Revenge was kind of me understanding that reflection. It's about how it's a story of how the character in the song, which is, you know, but how they made a deal with the devil, and they're realizing that this deal isn't what they thought it was going to be. So now they decided, instead of, you know, just kind of rolling over and succumbing, okay, well, this is what I got to do, right? They're like, no, F that. Like, I'm going after the devil. I'm getting my own revenge on the devil. So when we talk about the double meaning, the devil's revenge, it could mean, you know, the revenge of the devil, or it could mean the revenge against the devil.
That's
why
a
it's
take.
Revenge, Devil's Revenge. It's just Devil's Revenge. But yeah, in that one, there's a lot of emotional topics. You know, I mentioned I consider him my brother, Corey, him dying, Jack dying, my attempts at suicide, which was, yeah, there was a lot of emotion in that song.
Yeah, and I'm sorry for your loss, and I know it's definitely tough, especially when you're someone that kind of comes from a little bit of a hard past. I feel like people tend to grow up a little too quick in those environments, and it's really hard to watch that play out. And I'm glad that you survived. I'm glad that you made it. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're not just sharing your story here today, but also what you do through your music, what you do for your community, because it does have a ripple effect, and you inspire people, and being able to survive that, I guarantee you've collected a bunch of lives that you saved along the way too.
Well, I appreciate that, but just for the record, there are a lot of people who have it a lot worse, whose stories make mine look like a walk in the park, and it's those people that I really want to help. Now I understand that I'm not necessarily able to. So that's where that message comes in is, you know, trying to reach as many people as possible so that we can, you know, if I can't do it, maybe you guys can, you know.
I think that's beautiful, and it's necessary. It's a very, very hurt world, and it's a very unfortunate world that we live in, and what you do matters, every bit of it. So I might hit you with a little bit of a deep cut,
Oh
just
boy.
just for the sake of it. But
Yeah, sip of water.
if you only had like one day left, say someone gives you like a box with a timer on it, and it's like, this is all you got.
What's in the box?
Right, what's in the box? No, but just giving you a heads up that like, this is the last one. This is it. 3 things. What are you doing? What are you saying? And what do you hope to leave behind with that?
What am I doing? I'm traveling. I'm traveling. I'm gonna try to go to the most exotic place that I can with my family, as many people as I can, but you know, my wife and kids for sure. And what am I saying? I'm telling them just how much I love them. No. What am I saying? I'm gonna try to give them as much life advice as I could. I read this book called The Last Lecture a while back. It was this guy who's got pancreatic cancer. Spoiler alert, he dies. But he
Sorry, those really distasteful on my part. I'm sorry.
You're good. But it's the whole book is about that he realizes he's going to die, and he writes this book for his child who's only like 5 years old, and he understands his child isn't going to be able to understand a lot of these life lessons, so he leaves it in a book. So that way, when his son grows up, then he can read the book and gather all this. It was highly recommended. But anyways, that's what I would try to say, is as close as I can to the last lecture. And what would I leave behind? The only thing I can leave behind is my legacy. Is just, you know, hope, love, plan for the worst, hope for the best.
I think that's beautiful, and I'm so sorry for laughing when I did it.
Oh, no, you're
I have a weird relationship with death and grief, so forgive me. It comes out odd.
No, you're fine. Like that's kind of his reaction to it too. Is like, yeah, so I'm dying, and that sucked. So
Death makes me weird. And I'm the one that asked the question too, so like, why do I do this? But no, I think that's beautiful. So I know one more project that I kind of want to tap on too is your video for Hyphy. That was so much fun. The comic book elements really jumped out to me and Matthew, and we were like, what is going on here? This is so cool. How did that come about?
So Over It, the album before, only has I think like 2 music videos, I want to say, and they were shot by me, and so you know, low quality, but with Into the Antiverse, those videos, I wanted to kind of add, you know, like you're going into a whole new universe. Plus, there was the multiverse and the Spider-Verse and all this other, you know. Side note, funny story. The whole reason I got the idea for the name Antiverse is I was doing a feature with the artist, and I recorded it, and they're like, all right, you know, I'll send you the email. And I looked at the email, and it said anti, and he just hyphenated anti-famous. So he did anti-verse, and that's how I got the name for Antiverse.
It's almost like the universe was just like dropping it in
Here
your
you
lap.
go.
Here you go.
Right? I was like, oh, that's perfect. So,
I love that.
So yeah, with the videos, I knew I wanted to do something different, right? So with each video, if you look through the videos, there's a playlist on YouTube. I've got all but, I want to say, I think 3. I got all but 3 videos done. But each video is different, and it tells a different story. And so with Hyphy, like that one was the comic book, and it was just, that one was really exciting to do. Like it was just fun to do, you know, to add artwork like that into music and kind of combine them. Like I wanted to do the whole album like that, but that video took so long, like that. Like we're talking hundreds of hours of compilation.
We love seeing like the behind the scenes, like little clips and pictures. Like you could just tell, like there was a lot of energy put into it, and it paid off. Like it's such a cool project.
Thank you. Did you see the behind the scenes for The Motive?
I think I did. I saw clips of it on Instagram too. Like
okay. Yeah, that one is another one. That one was based off of Fight Club. But that was another really cool video.
that is so fun. So 'tis the season. Do you celebrate the holidays?
We do. Halloween in particular, yeah. We go trick or treating, and we usually have a pumpkin carving contest. My wife's family has like a pumpkin carving contest. So yeah, it's my mother-in-law's favorite holiday of the year actually. So like when I say we celebrate it, like we join her celebration. If you know what I mean? Because it's a big deal.
That's awesome. We love Halloween here because a lot of birthdays in the household fall around it.
Yeah.
But have you ever done like a family costume? And like if so, do you have a favorite one?
We have. We try to do a family costume every year. My daughter's this year she doesn't want to do a family costume, so she's gonna be her own thing. But I mean, we've done things like Mario. Like my son was Mario, I was Luigi. My daughter was Princess Peach. I think my favorites would either be Toy Story or I think it was Wizard of Oz. We did Wizard of Oz. I was the Scarecrow. My son was the Lion. He was like 2 years old, so he was the Lion. My wife was the Wicked Witch, and my daughter was Dorothy.
That is so cute. Did she do the green paint too?
My wife, yeah.
Hell yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Your wife is so cool.
Yeah,
Sorry.
she is.
I talked to her for a couple minutes, and I was like, damn, she's really cool. Like she was just kind of like easygoing.
And she's essential to like the events. Like I do all the planning for the events, but when it's day of, like you saw at Summer Buzz, I'm running around, and I got.
Oh yeah, no, she was too. She was on it.
She's like my head director of operations. Like.
And I was like, Matthew, my partner, he's absolutely like production, my backbone.
Yeah,
when I get a motivational speech, he's got me.
Shout out.
Right, I know he's juggling the kids in there right now too. He's absolutely needed in all of this.
Big shout out to our partners. Thank you. Can't do it without you guys.
Literally cannot do this without them. But let the people know where they could find you, where they could support you, and any upcoming events that you're a part of.
Yeah, so barbecue and boxing, a wagon wheel on November 1st. And then we've got November 8th is the Lost Poets Society, which is going to be a really cool showcase. That's at the Loft in Old Colorado City. We got Mac and Casual Pharaoh headlining. And then we've got November 14th, I'll be opening up for Ritz and Mayday at Sunshine Studios Live. Tickets for all of these shows can be found on my website at www.antifamouzwithaz.com. More information about past events, about trying to book me to do your own event, or music, EPKs, as antifamouz.com. You can search me on all the platforms at YouTube is just Anti-Famouz. Facebook's Anti-Famouz Recordings. It's Anti-Famouz with a Z. There's only one. It's me.
Perfect. I'm so grateful that you came on today,
Yeah.
and we appreciate you.
Thank you
so much
very
for your
much.
time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
All right, once again, shout out to Rooted, and thanks again for having me. I'm Anti-Famouz with a Z. Counting your reflection, there ain't nobody else. When all is said and done, it will be you inside a cell. Well, maybe you won't go to jail, maybe the homies go to prison. Maybe you can find a reason to justify your decision. I've been reading about the social destruction in my environment, trying to break it down cause I'm lying if I ain't tired of it. Picture for a second the garden that you retired in. Little did you know that your enemy set a fire in it. You don't know the enemy, never seen his face. That's the genius of it all, because you see him every day. When everybody pay to play and you playing to be afraid. Ain't the one to lead the way, but I'm going the other way. Hey, you ready? Ready to go, baby. Let's go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show now. I will be your host. I'm hoping to bring the whole town just a little toast. Then it's about to go down. Leave a little note so everybody will know now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show now. I will be your host, hoping to bring the whole town just a little toast. Then it's about to go down. I am not your enemy and you are not mine. And I think we can agree that everything is not fine. This division is intentional. It's about time to recite what indispensable really means to me and mine. It's like our lives are on the line, scrolling through infinity, when we're all trying to make it down in systematic civility. With mental illness on the rise, I know that I'm not qualified. Now it's gotten dangerous to question their divinity. Ain't about the politics, it's been about the people. It ain't about the race, cause it's been about being equal. To my brothers, to my people, we fighting to keep it equal. And I gotta say it twice, some people they be deceitful, they be evil, and they'd rather start a war to catch a zero. Using fear to making money, playing they the hero. Ain't a hero in this game, but I'm standing right here. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show now. I will be your host. I'm hoping to bring the whole town just a little toast that it's about to go down. Leave a little note so everybody will know now. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the show now. I will be your host, hoping to bring the whole town just a little toast that it's about to go down. Leave a little note so everybody will know now.